Mrs. McCready?
I'm afraid so.
The professor is not accustomed to having children in this house. And as such, there are a few rules we need to follow. There will be no shouting or running. No sliding on the banisters. No touching of the external artifacts. And above all, there shall be no disturbing of the professor.
96, 97, 98, 99, 100. Ready or not, here I come.
Welcome to Narnia. How many of you have seen the movie? How many of you have not seen the movie? Lots of people. Don't forget to go see the movie. You will absolutely love it. Great movie, great books by C.S. Lewis. So welcome to Narnia. Today's topic is finding direction. And direction is certainly something that every single one of us need at different times in our lives. And so that's going to be the first in our mini-series as we go through the Narnia movie. Now remember, we're just using clips to illustrate our biblical truths. We're not here to lift up Narnia and worship Narnia or anything like that. We're just using clips just to illustrate biblical truths, very much like we did with the Polar Express. And so it's a lot of fun to just kind of watch things, and those visuals sort of drive things home in our heart. So I want to challenge you this morning to think about not approaching this series of our next preaching series with all of your cognitive thinking and all your heady, brainy stuff. Think about your heart. Listen with your heart. Listen with your imagination, and let God just really work in that. If you've got a bulletin, take out that little insert there. There's a fill in the blank thing. Follow along on that. I apologize. I had computer issues last night and had trouble squeezing it all in on the page. But you might have a letter that's missing or something here on the right, but all the right blanks are there, and you'll be able to fill those in as we go. So we all need a little direction in life. Now, let's be honest this morning. Show of hands. How many of you are here and you're looking for some direction specifically in your life, in some area of your life? Anybody? Anybody? Yeah. All of us, some more than others at different times. We go through seasons, don't we, where it's like, gosh, am I ever going to get the direction that I need to find? And I've got good news for you, because I think you're about to enter into a season where you're going to find some answers and some direction. But will it take a compass? How about a map? You're going to have to walk by and listen to, you got it. You guys should come to the children's message, right? One thing is for sure, without direction we fall short of experiencing the full journey that God has planned for us. So we've got to get the right direction to experience that full journey that God has planned to us. We all need direction in some area of our life. How do we help our kids? How do we repair that broken marriage? Where do I begin healing my strained family relationships? How do I recover from my addiction or dig my way out of debt? Find the right job? What about my health? Who will I marry? How will I find that person? Congratulations, Blake and Ashley. I think you've already checked that one off. How do I begin to change the difficult dynamics of my work environment? The list just goes on. We all need some direction. John F. Kennedy said, efforts and courage are not enough without purpose and direction. But sometimes, even when we get a little direction, and it seems to make sense to the cognitive side of our brain, we discover that somehow we have flown off course from God's intended pathway for our lives. I remember one of my favorite childhood memories was a birthday. And it was a year that I really wanted something special. It was a little more expensive, but I really, really wanted it. And I had this fascination with airplanes that were remote control airplanes. And so I wanted one of those planes that could fly by itself, and all that kind of thing. Well, they came out with this really great model that year. Anybody remember what it was called? I'll bet Mom and Dad do. Oh, they don't remember? It was called the Superstar. And on my birthday, I got this big box and I unwrapped it, and sure enough, there was my Superstar airplane, and I couldn't wait to get it out of the box and let it fly. And I opened the box and I ripped it apart, and guess what was inside? About 100 million little pieces. And I said, oh my gosh, this will never fly. Well, my dad took all those pieces and he went out to a little workshop that we had at the time, and he spread those all out. And when he got home from work, every day he'd come in and he'd add a few more pieces to the Superstar. And a week went by, and 2 weeks went by, and a month went by, and we were still putting the Superstar together. Finally, the Superstar was all ready to fly, had a little disc that you put inside, you snapped it, and that would determine its flight pattern. And we decided we wanted it to fly a figure 8. So you turn it on, the propeller started, it took off, and it's supposed to fly this figure 8. So we all marched out to the backyard. We were so excited. We had waited a long time for this day. And we turned the Superstar on, it whirred up into the air, and it started flying. I mean, we're cheering. The whole family's cheering, the dog is cheering. Everybody is excited that the Superstar is airborne. And we were waiting for that figure 8, and it went around, and it did the first part of the figure 8, and it turned and headed back to the other part, and we watched, and we watched, and we watched, and it disappeared over the cornfield. And all we saw in the distance was a little black dot that went, and the Superstar was down. So then the corn was already way up this high, so we had to go walk the cornfields looking for the Superstar. We finally found it and started working on it again. But sometimes we just fly off course. Things don't go the way we thought. Our directions just didn't kind of line up with what we thought they were. Dad played an important role in making sure that the Superstar was going to get off the ground. And I want to ask you today, as we walk into Narnia and we think about direction, what's your role? Who are you? And that's point number 1. Who are you and what direction are you heading? Who are you and what direction are you heading? Author C.S. Lewis, that's the man who wrote this movie. He wrote the whole series of books, the Narnia books. He's famous for his literary series of books based on the magical land called Narnia. He was an intellectual giant and theologian. He wrote many books such as The Screwtape Letters and Mere Christianity. And so we use those in seminary. You've probably read those yourself. But Lewis says this, and I think this is really, really good. Rarely does someone come to Christ based on reasoning alone. And why is that? We just went through the whole Easter story. The reason is because reasoning doesn't make sense. Why would someone like Jesus die for someone like me? And so that's why we want to start listening with our heart and walking by faith. C.S. Lewis set out to share the gospel in such a way that our imaginations would be engaged, our senses would be heightened, and our longing for the mysterious could be satisfied. As you seek today to understand your role, C.S. Lewis and I both invite you to venture into the unknown. Now, with the unknown, we get a little what? Scared, nervous, a little afraid. God's not giving you a spirit of fear. Amen? I say, God's not giving you a spirit of fear. Amen? Amen. Now, this is not just my imagination talking this morning. I want to give you some scriptures. Jeremiah 33:3 says this. Call to me, and I will answer you, and I will tell you great and hidden things that you have not known. You see, God doesn't quite think the way we do, and that's the next scripture, Isaiah 55:8. God says, my thoughts are nothing like your thoughts, and my ways are far beyond anything that you could imagine. Gosh, that's incredible stuff. And as you go through the Narnia movie, you'll understand a little bit more about hidden things and things that go beyond your imagination, things that transcend your understanding, my understanding of the way things work. Well, direction must have been very difficult for the 4 children in Narnia. They'd been caught up in a war-torn world and shipped away to live with a distant relative. That way they could be safe. They found themselves in a no-nonsense, dreary, dull existence within the confines of an old mansion. The nanny was sour. The professor, he was a recluse. Life was boring. It lacked direction and spark. Until one day.
Well done, Ed.
You balled it! The McCready!
Come on! She's faster than you know.
Don't worry. I'm sure it's just your imagination.
Before the kids stumbled into Narnia, life must have been pretty drab. I like to call those drab places in life the desert time. I want to spend just a few minutes this morning talking about our desert time. That dull, boring place where you go, okay, is this it? There's nothing else? What am I supposed to be doing next? And nothing seems exciting, and there just doesn't seem to be any direction in life. That takes me to point number 2. Finding direction means embracing your desert time and preparing for what is ahead. Embrace your desert time and prepare for what's ahead. How many of you would say, I am in the desert? Yeah, I've been there. not a fun place to be. It's exhausting, it's difficult, and you think, gosh, will I never hear a directive word from God again? Exactly. And so you wait, and you wait, and you wait. The desert time is hard. It seems that you wait for a lifetime, but here's the good news. God uses our desert time, and here's what he does. Number one, it prepares us for ministry. Your desert time prepares you for ministry. I remember in college, I was really looking for direction, and a pastor that I just happened to go listen to one night was speaking, and I went to hear him, and he was talking about direction and vision in life. And I said, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with my career. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with life, and I've just been kind of lost. And he says, oh, you're in the desert. And I said, yeah, I guess I am. And he said, whew, get ready. Because he said, once you get past the desert, you got to be ready. I said, for what? He says, God will be doing something. God will be doing something. Jesus did his desert time right before his ministry began. He was out in the desert. Of course, we know the story. He's tempted by Satan out in the desert, and he's getting prepared. God's using that time. Everything's all rolling up and getting psyched up for that big Jesus Easter story at the very end. So he did his desert time. You and I have to do our desert time. Rather than fight it, embrace that desert time. It prepares you for the ministry that's ahead, just like Jesus. Here's the next thing it does. It teaches and it equips you for the next part of your journey. It teaches and equips. Now, let's talk about the Israelites for just a minute. When God led them to the promised land, and they're looking over into the promised land, they sent out some spies. And they said, go check out the land, find out what's going on out there, and come and let us know. And so they did. When the spies came back, what did the spies say? The land is full of giants. There's giants everywhere. They make us look like grasshoppers. And what did the Israelites do? Did they roar into battle? No. They said, ooh, we better rethink this. And God said, okay, you want to rethink this? I'll give you 40 years to wander around in the wilderness and rethink it. And that's exactly what happened. So they went to the wilderness and they rethought it. After that wilderness time, guess what? The original plan goes right back into gear. Sometimes God's going to let you be in the desert so that you can learn and you can be equipped for that next part of the journey. Once the Israelites knew what was going on, they trusted, they walked by faith that God was equipping them to go into battle. And of course we know those stories. They won every battle, even in unsurmountable odds. Incredible. Here's the next thing. It reminds us to walk by faith and not by sight. We heard that in the children's message today. Walk by faith and not by sight. Now, on the screen there, there's a picture. It doesn't show up real well with the lights on in here. It's a lot prettier than what it is in the picture. But about a year ago, right now during this time, I flew back to Indiana. And I flew back to do a few specific things. One, I wanted to have lunch with my senior pastor and get together with Rusty and just catch up on old times and laugh and carry on and all that good thing. I wanted to check with my friends Greg and Jennifer because they had said, Ron, if you want to move home, you can live in the basement. So all the kids at the middle school, they all think I live in a basement. And so I talked with Greg and Jennifer about that, and I talked with some people about a job. And I just began to look at things, and everything was kind of falling into place. And I said to my mom and dad, I said, I've not met any resistance on any of these things. And that day, that very day, it was kind of really windy outside and kind of cold. And I said, I'm going to go outside for a second. I went outside, and I looked across the field, and that rainbow was just bright. And I said, oh, I think that might just seal the deal. And I stood there looking, I called mom and dad, I said, you guys come out here and look at this. They came out and I said, oh, wow. And my mom said, oh, gosh, that's kind of like a sign. I said, I think it is. and I got on the plane, and I went back to Florida, and I quit everything. And I moved home. Direction comes to us in all kinds of ways. It might be through a person that we talk to, somebody from our past, somebody that's going to be part of our future. It might be something as quiet as a rainbow that's just sitting above the cornfield waiting to be seen. You have to listen and watch with your heart, and God will speak to you.